They're set. The Qipco British Champions Day 2-year-old Condition Stakes. And they're off. The first running of this 2-year-old race, and Siren Suit has missed the break badly. Trails 5, 6, a good 8 lengths behind the leader, which is Igoli, through the first furlong with Mission Central and Gentle George. Words of Truth is handy in the all-blue jacket. Division is close up as well with Sir Albert, and then Watcher Snoop in the black and yellow jacket. Further back, Ardisia from Super Soldier, Slay Queen, and making up the ground is Siren Suit, but just getting a little bit keen, and has forfeited a lot of ground and a bit of energy as well as they continue now and approach the final 3 furlongs. And it's Igoli in the light blue jacket, Division in the red cap between the Mission Central. On the left is the White Blaze favourite, Words of Truth, being wound up now by William Buick. On the right, Gentle George with Ardisia coming with a run behind these Super Soldier and Slay Queen. Words of Truth far side. Mission Central though just looks the leader now, and it's Mission Central. Words of Truth needs to find more. Ardisia on the near side then from Division, and racing inside the final furlong, Mission Central and Christophe Soumillon by a length and a half. Ardisia trying hard, thrusting home on the near side, but it's going to be too late. Mission Central from Ardisia. Words of Truth the favourite third, followed by Super Soldier in fourth.
Christophe Soumillon notching up a single here on Champions Day. Great to see you here, Christophe. Tell us a bit about that, because it looks so easy. You're always going well.
Yeah, it was easy. Yeah, he jumped out the gates really fast. I was at the point nearly close to getting covered, but we get a little bit bumped after 2 furlong, and finally I decided to leave him there. He was really relaxed. He took me a nice blow 3 furlong out, and when I asked him to come beside James, I was really cruising. Then I saw William coming on my right quite easily. And when I press on the button, ask him to quicken, he responds so well. I really think the distance today and the ground helped him a lot compared with last time in Doncaster. And yeah, he finally did really easily, and I was quite impressed by his win today.
Potentially quite smart, you say?
Yeah, I think he's a really good horse. He's going to travel overseas, I think. So no, he's an impressive 2-year-old, and he shows a lot of speed out the gate, so maybe he can dream a little bit more now.
Okay. And how are you enjoying filling in at Coolmore Ballydoyle at the moment?
It's like a kid when you bring him to Disneyland, you know. You can't dream better than that. Like I said, I'm really sorry for what happened to Ryan, because nobody deserves something like that. But at the end of the day, it's nothing that bad. We're going to see him soon, so that's the most important. But for sure, when you're a horseman and you love riding champions, is the best way to find some. And even if it's a short-time job, I couldn't imagine one time in my life I will be able to get in that seat. And for me now, it's just taking a pleasure every day. And then yeah, I'm proud of being part of that amazing team.
Fantastic words. Well done. Thank you, Christophe.
So much. Thank you. Thanks.
Gosden 1, O'Brien 1. That's the score after 2 on British Champions Day. Aidan had to rely on Mission Central, and Christophe Soumillon has guided him to victory. It's a reasonably cosy victory for all that Ardisia, who is such a tough horse, was closing him down hand over fist. He's run a wonderful race in second for Hugo Palmer and Tom Marquand. Third was the favourite here, who didn't appear to have too many excuses, Words of Truth. And fourth is Super Soldier, who's run a fine race for Carlberg. Division in 5, Gentle George in 6. Martin Dixon, 1 for Ballydoyle.
Yeah, and it was a smooth performance as well. Much improved back up to 6 furlongs, Mission Central. I think the Flying Childers was just asking him to do everything a little bit too quickly, and he got in a much smoother rhythm today. The pace of this race wasn't that strong in the early stages, and Division kind of pulled his way towards the head of affairs after a furlong or so, but he'd done too much, one of the market principles, whereas Mission Central was always in his comfort zone under Soumillon, who's probably learned a good bit from riding him last time out as well. He's got a high head carriage when he comes under pressure. He's a rarity as a 2-year-old gelding for Ballydoyle that are running to this sort of standard. So he must have been a little bit of a tricky customer right the way through, and we can see that from how he races and how, as I say, the head goes up when he comes under stronger pressure. But he's been coaxed into the lead and then nursed home.
He's done his job for Connections, hasn't he? He's landed a big prize. He'll probably be on the transfer list now because he's probably worth quite a lot of money. Ardisia in second has been an absolute revelation since he was gelded, and he's turned up at every single show and has run his heart out.
He's got an unbelievable career record, hasn't he? He's raced 11 times this year, 5 of them for wins, and then this is another career best this afternoon to finish second in this valuable prize. And
I thought he wanted cut in the ground.
Yeah, well, he seems to handle anything, doesn't he, to be honest with you. This is the point here. Just keep your eye on James Doyle in the middle. Red cap and division. He's really tanking himself there into the lead, isn't he? And he's just overdoing things a little bit. I don't think he kind of resented being taken back a little bit more early. James would have been hoping that gallop was even hotter through the early part of the race, and he's just a bit too much on it.
We're riding with Christophe Soumillon aboard the winner here, and he's between Ross Orion on Igoli and the horse you just saw there, who was way too keen in the early stages, Division, and James Doyle.
You can see him just not wanting to do anything in a hurry, can't you, Christophe? He's gone away from them without really reaching for his stick, and yes, he's had to pull it through and show him the stick in the latter stages to just keep his mind on the job, but he really is nursing him home. Wiser words of truth, sorry, he did get outpaced and he did stay on. I think he's run well actually, but he's kind of run how I feared he might
yeah.
beforehand. I just think he's ready for a longer trip now.
Gentle George has run a nice race. He's run on to finish 6th, and he'd have been 3rd or 4th in another couple of strides.
He ran really well. He got outpaced when the tempo quickened. He didn't have that pace to go with them when that tempo quickened up after halfway. But he's very honest. He possibly wants another furlong. I'd say definitely wants slower ground, but he's actually run really well.
This was I'm afraid, race lost at the start. Siren Suit just walked out of the stalls at one point, threatened not to start at all.
Slightly worryingly so, really, for a 2-year-old colt having just his 4th career start. You don't really like to see those signs coming in early on. You can see it gets a little bit tight for Division in that early part of the race between Sir Albert and Mission Central.
Might just have lit him up a bit, that little bump.
I think it probably did. I think that was part of the problem as well.
Igoli just a bit free, a bit fresh in the headgear.
Yeah, but often in these 6 furlong races we get something that just jumps and runs and wants to lead. Didn't happen here, and being in a fairly prominent position for Soumillon has been the perfect spot to be in. As I say, the horse relaxed with him as well.
Just slightly high head carriage, the winner, but certainly a good ground action, as you'd expect given his pedigree.
Yeah.
And he's galloped on sufficiently resolutely
yeah,
to hold off Ardisia. Christophe Soumillon was quite pleased when that line came.
Yeah, there's an engine there. There's a few things in his mind when he's asked to go and race, isn't there? And he's sort of having to think about whether he does or doesn't want to do it. But ultimately, he's got a lot of ability, and that has seen him through today. I prefer the attitude of the runner-up to the second, but he hasn't quite got the engine of the winner.
No, the winner by No Nay Never, big handsome horse. The runner-up, a tough, tenacious terrier by Ardad, but his big heart wasn't quite enough to get him past the class of the well-ridden Mission Central. Christophe Soumillon, what do you got for us? The man who lit up the first ever British Champions Day here at Ascot with that ride on Cirrus des Aigles, all the controversy afterwards about the whip ban. Can you lend me 20 quid for a taxi to the airport after that big fine, which was then rescinded? And of course, here he is today as the super sub for Ryan Moore. He's ridden 5 Group 1 winners for Aidan O'Brien in this little spell.
It's been seamless, hasn't it, really?
Absolutely brilliant. And he's got Delacroix to come in the Champion Stakes later. Of course, the Lion in Winter, he could be a real joker in the pack in the QE2.
He could be. I mean, his season hasn't come together as they would have hoped, but it was probably a personal best for him last time, wasn't it?
Aidan looking delighted. Derek Smith, Michael Tabor, MV Magna, Paul Smith, they're all here today. And Christophe Soumillon has guided one of the less heralded Ballydoyle representatives on the card to victory, Mission Central. How many better in the 2-year-old division, do you think, at Ballydoyle?
Oof, plenty.
Couple of dozen?
Yeah, plenty. Well, he's got a big engine. He's got a lot of ability, though, hasn't he? But
yeah, for sure.
As I say, being a gelding, he might well be on the transfer list.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.